What is Bandia Rose? Bandia Rose was a mixed media franchise published in a collaboration between Sony Music Japan and its sub-label Aniplex Plus. The franchise started out as a smartphone rhythm game in 2016 focused on 4 rock bands: Blast, Osiris, Fairy April and Cure Cure Tron, and their adventures as they overcame challenges, came to terms with their past and fought for their future. The rhythm game, just like rehearsing for a gig. As a rhythm game, Bandia Rose started to be distributed on October 12, 2016. However, it was far from being a smooth launch. The game suffered from hiccups during production, something that delayed the game's release. Bandia Rose was a truly challenging rhythm game, but it was at the same time incredibly satisfying to play. Like real guitar playing, you'd practice to no end until you pulled off that insanely fast-paced guitar solo or pull off a tricky intro. Playing Bandia Rose felt like going for a proper guitar practice session, including all the frustrations that comes from being unfamiliar with the song, its structure and tempo, as well as the glee that comes with pulling off something you felt like you couldn't or didn't have enough skill to pull off. As a guitar player myself, I felt like the game, mainly its gameplay, perfectly captured the feelings of discovery, frustration, glee, and satisfaction of learning how to play guitar. I don't know about you, but the game felt really good to play. The story. The Livehouse apprentice watching the 4 bands grow. When it came to the story, Bandia Rose was consistent and cohesive in its main story. The game's story was pretty interesting, with you following the careers and adventures of several indie rock bands in their path to stardom. As a player, you were playing the role as an apprentice working for the Livehouse Eden, live venue in which all 4 bands ended up converging and performing with some frequency. There were choices you could make as a player, and those would either determine if you were all work and no play, or the kind of person that would embrace crazy shenanigans and run along with those, often leading to hilarious situations. Many fans will claim the story was all over the place, but I honestly felt like, as far as main stories go, Bandia Rose was cohesive and consistent, following each band, their struggles, dreams, growth, and passion for music, while following a logical conducting thread. Where things got out of hand and at times downright crazy were in the side stories and special story events. That's where you could find the members of Blast having their swimming shorts stolen by a bunch of monkeys, having to battle them in a series of live performances in order to recover them, or how Osiris' Kyo was running after a member of Cure Cure Tron because of an alleged stolen guitar case with important contents. Those were moments that brought fun and a chaotic element to the stories of each band. Those were a good break from what was, at times, intense human drama arcs for some of the bands. The later chapters of the story were rushed, something you could expect from a project that suddenly had its rug pulled from underneath them. So yeah, while the main story was solid and the side stories pretty fun, there's a general unsatisfaction with the way the final story chapters and events were handled. There was certainly more story beyond that point, especially after the introduction of the rival bands and especially all that mystery behind Xenon, the worldwide famous band that never got a Seiyuu cast for its characters. The main cast. A whole lot of talent ready to impress. If you're wondering if Bandia Rose's lack of success was due to having an unknown cast, well, you're going to be surprised when I tell you that no, it wasn't because of that. Shota Aoi, Yumu Uchida, Natsuki Hanae, Yuichiro Umehara, Toshiki Masuda, Yusuke Kobayashi and Kaito Ishikawa were just some of the biggest and most buzzworthy names part of the cast. Later on, Daisuke Ono, Shotaro Morikubo, Kisho, Tetsuya Kakihara, Ayumu Murase, Tsubasa Yonaga, and Katsuyuki Konishi joined in, and you could tell that this cast was far from being unknown. Masanori Kobayashi, Yoji Ikuta, Shota Oi, and Tomoyo Kurosawa brought a lot of talent to the table, impressing with their performances. To top it all off, Kobayashi and Ikuta made solid transitions to voice acting, impressing with their emotional range and delivery. Bandia Rose had an awesome and extremely talented cast filled with a good measure of stars and up-and-coming talents. The bands. Quality and variety across several rock subgenres. Bandia Rose included punk rock, visual kei rock, pop rock, electronic rock, and metal across its 8 bands. Variety was an important greeting card that made Bandia Rose appealing to a wider audience than its inspiration, Fly Me Project, which was only focused on visual kei rock. Bandia Rose counted with 4 main bands: Blast, Osiris, Fairy April, and Cure Curetron. There were as well 4 rival bands: Destirare, Crystal Cross, Freezing, and Xenon. A note that, taking into account how the project was abruptly ended, there is little to no information on the rival bands. Let's check each band. Blast. The core of the band was founded by Sosuke and included Tsubasa and Teppei, all students at the same high school, Inoyama First. After a long search in which the band went through a wide variety of vocalists, Blast ultimately settled for their 17th temporary vocal, Yamato, as their frontman. Yoji Ikuta voices the passionate Yamato Shinonome, Blast's vocal. Is also known within the franchise for getting into all kinds of crazy shenanigans alongside his bandmates Teppei Shirayuki and Tsubasa Saeki. Toshiki Masuda voices the sharp-tongued Sosuke Maki, Blast's leader and guitarist. Is serious and extremely competitive. Daiki Yamashita voices Blast's bassist Tsubasa Saeki. He loves to watch other people and is often the instigator of whatever shenanigans Yamato and Teppei get into. Haruki Ishii voices the hard-working Teppei Shirayuki, Blast's drummer. As the younger member in the band, he feels like he owes a lot to the other members for having put their trust on him to be their drummer. Osiris. Osiris was formed by childhood friends Rei and Shin. Kyo and Makoto joined afterwards. As you went through the band's story in the game, you'd come to the realization that although the visual kei rock band is still in the indie scene, they had an opportunity to make a debut under a major music label, but that went down the drain. Masanori Kobayashi voices Kyo Takara, the quiet and introspective frontman for Osiris. He prefers to show his emotions in his performances, coming across as cold or aloof when he is not on stage. Yumuchida voices Makoto Kurusu, Osiris' bassist. A realist, Kurusu doesn't understand why the other band members dream about a major debut. He's calm and collected, although with a gap. Natsuki Hanae voices Rei Seffart, Osiris' playful guitarist. Is known for his cheerful yet bossy personality. Is often butting heads with Makoto Kurusu due to him being a realist instead of a dreamer. Yuichiro Umehara voices Osiris' drummer Shin Kogane. He's aware that all members of Osiris are a bit awkward themselves and with each other, regardless he loves the band with his all. Fairy April. Out of all bands, Fairy April is the one that starts off its story as part of a major music label. However, due to mistreatment in that music label, they decided to go back to the indies. Shota Oi voices Asahi Otori, Fairy April's vocalist. Otori is selfless, wanting to make others' dreams come true. He's got a bright and refreshing personality, making him a beacon of good vibes and positivity. Kaito Ishikawa voices Kazuma Nanase, Fairy April's guitarist. He's passionate, highly competitive, and to top it all off, a lone wolf, which makes him look like the least approachable member within Fairy April. Shoma Yamamoto voices Yoshimune Tokuda. the band's bassist. Is Fairy April's mood maker, a jokester at all times. Yusuke Kobayashi voices Misato Todo, Fairy April's drummer. Despite his cute and delicate appearance, he's got quite the straightforward personality and he does exercise frequently in order to be recognized by others as a strong and reliable person. Cure Cure Tron. Cure Cure Tron was formed by Shelly, Mint, and later on Yukiho joined the band. Shelly did the guitar and vocals until the day he saw Miley alone at a karaoke booth and invited him to join them. The band members ended up cross-dressing as a result of other bands pointing out that all members had feminine voices and looks. As such, the entire cast of Cure Cure Tron is comprised of female seiyuu. Tomoyo Kurosawa voices Miley, Cure Cure Tron's vocal. Miley is upbeat and full of charm, however, he has a complex about his feminine looks and voice, something he works on throughout the story. Asami Tano voices the passionate Shelly, the band's guitarist. Kaide Yuasa voices Yukiho, the band's bassist, who loves the band members and is pretty refined. Rie Murakawa voices the bubbly Mint, Cure Cure Tron's drummer. The Rivals. Destirare, a charismatic band that dominates the contemporary music scene. The band is focused on dazzling others with mind-blowing performances that come from their clashing personalities. The band included Dizzy on vocals, with no voice actor announced, Seiji on guitar, voiced by Shotaro Morikubo, Masaki on bass, voiced by Katsuyuki Konishi, and Shu on drums, voiced by Daisuke Ono. Crystal Cross. Crystal Cross is a duo consisting of twins Yu and Sho, who faced scrutiny from certain people because their mother is a Japanese woman who came back to Japan after migrating to America for a long time. Crystal Cross are Fairy April's rivals, especially due to the fact that they come from the same major music label, although Fairy April left the label since then. The band included Yu on vocals, voiced by Tsubasa Yonaga, Sho on vocals, voiced by Ayumu Murase. Freezing. Freezing's formation starts out as a group of eccentric musicians that had no band. They were put together by their music label and eventually came to be a tight-knit band. The band included Shuji on vocals, voiced by Shinya Takahashi in the story, and singing, rapping by Lotus Juice, Atsushi on guitar, voiced by Daigo Fujimaki, Ryusei on keyboard, voiced by Taishi Murata, and 9-6 on drums, voiced by Shota Chona. Xenon, top band that is as famous overseas as it is domestically. World tours are part of their daily life. The band included Victor on vocals, Koki on guitar, Shui on bass, and Graham on drums. No voice actors were announced for these characters. Other characters. Up until now, I've talked about the main bands, but there were also 3 solo artists and 1 supergroup that make an appearance in the game. Some even released songs. Dante. Dante is a genius drummer and solo artist. He's one of the Quattro Virtuoso and was voiced by Kisho. Adam. Adam is a bassist and solo artist. He's one of the Quattro Virtuoso, legendary musicians in the Bandiarose franchise. Adam was voiced by Tetsuya Kakihara. Rafael. Rafael is a guitarist and member of the Quattro Virtuoso. He was voiced by Daisuke Namikawa. Quattro Virtuoso. Quattro Virtuoso consisted on 4 legendary musicians, the best at their respective position within a band, and in a way, rivals to some of the members in the 4 main bands in the franchise. The members and positions were the following: Dizzy on vocals, Rafael on guitar, Adam on bass, Dante on drums. The main frontman. Voicing Kyo Takara, Osiris' frontman, is none other than Masanori Kobayashi, singer and stage actor that made the jump to voice acting with Bandiarose. Prior to joining the project, Kobayashi was already known for his singing skills, performing in the indie scene with covers bands. As a singer, Kobayashi is outstandingly skilled. He's a tenor with a massive range, not only dazzling in his natural range, going for insanely high notes, but also go low and match the song's intensity. He's skilled with faux baritone, skill that he uses quite frequently on Osiris songs. He's now active as a solo artist, Warrock. Yoji Ikuta voices the passionate Yamato Shinonome Blast's vocal. Although he's got some credits as a voice actor, Yoji Ikuta is best known as the frontman for Penguin Research, pop rock band signed to Sakura Music. His voice tone is a bit brassy, going for higher tones with more ease than the lower ones. He's consistent and on a live setting has an overflowing energy to the point that is infectious. Shota Boy doesn't need an introduction, yet I'll be doing that in case you're not familiar with him. He's a renowned solo artist, actor and voice actor. Considered one of the best singers among male seiyuu, Aoi is an all-rounder with a voice tone often dubbed as angelic, with his high notes being an awesome greeting card. He's got a vast array of skills under his belt, including an ethereal, crystal clear falsetto that always elevates his performances. Tomoyo Kurosawa. Tomoyo Kurosawa is a seiyuu and has plenty of credits in 2D music projects. She has a lively, youthful singing tone that fits well with Tron's Miley. Now a legal disclaimer. Since Sony Music Japan and Aniplex Plus are really particular when it comes to featuring snippets of songs by their artists and are strict with copyright law to the point that this video could be region locked instead of just having claimed ID content, this video does not feature samples of the songs I'll suggest you to check. For an extended analysis of those songs, I welcome you to check the written, extended version of this feature. You can find it in the description below. Bandiarose's music, a quick analysis. All four main bands, Osiris, Blast, Fairy April and Tron, released several albums and singles. Some of those included solo tracks by each member within those four bands. Additionally, the rival bands, aside from Xenon, released music at least one song before Bandiarose was shelved. Osiris. The band is known for their emotional lyrics and aggressive dramatic rock sound that lends a lot of elements from what you'd call a traditional Visual Kei rock band. At times their music has metal elements and there are rare cases of the band venturing towards ballads, Heavenly Breeze being a prime example of that. Versatile, exciting and aggressive, Osiris stood out as the best band in the franchise. Their sound has shades of The Gazette, Shido, Lunacea and Buktik. Songs that best highlight Osiris' talents are Darkness, Bloody Masquerade and Heavenly Breeze. As Kyo, Kobayashi's voice resounds with you, it will reach your heart and make you invested in every single performance of his. He's a rare case of a frontman that really knows how to drive a crowd to his performances. He's got an unparalleled charisma that makes it impossible not to care for his performance. Blast. The band has a youthful yet aggressive punk rock punk pop sound that easily sets them apart from all other bands within the franchise. Fast-paced, playful, funky at times and always a bundle of fun, Blast songs are a treat to listen to. Their sound has shades of Flow and Penguin Research. Songs that best highlight Blast's talents include Resonance, Bureiko Time and Dreamer. As Yamato, Yoji Ikuta delivered a set of performances that embraced the youthful vibe that a band formed in high school has. Fairy April. Fairy April has a bright pop rock sound and hopeful or uplifting lyrics to top it all off. Their music has overflowing personality that shows in their high energy live performances. Their sound has shades of Nico Touch the Walls, Sug, Alice 9 and Flumpool. Songs that best highlight Fairy April's talents are Fairy Go, Shining Star, and Thrill o Chodai. Shota Aoi was in his comfort zone for Fairy April songs. As one of the most technical and versatile singers among seiyuu, Aoi pulled off every single song thrown at him. From adding a bit of an enka flair to his performance in Shining Star, to his slightly alluring singing in Thrill o Chodai, to the exciting and uplifting performance in Fairy Go, he made sure every performance was memorable and connected with the listener. Cure Cure Tron. Cute jazz pop coming from a charming, colorful band. Jazz elements make their way into the music at times, be it with unique beats or with the addition of a classic contrabass, and you can expect fancy piano melodies to appear from time to time in their music. From cute to classy, from intense to loungy, Cure Cure Tron was a group that brought a lot of quality to the table. Their sound has shades of Scandal, Malice Miser, and L'Arc-en-Ciel. Songs that best highlight Cure Cure Tron's talents include Swing Night, Tabidachi Melody, and I'm a Superstar. Tomoyo Kurosawa's voice gave an upbeat, youthful, and at the same time, charming touch to Cure Cure Tron's songs. On top of that, her singing voice is extremely pleasing, a bit lower toned than you'd expect of a female seiyuu, something that made her sound warm and passionate at all times. If you want a taste of Destirare, Crystal Cross, Freezing, Dante, Adam, and the Raphael songs, a special album titled Dual Gig Rivals was released in 2018, including their songs. A couple of suggestions out of the Rivals tracks include Freezing's Pick Your Poison, song that, for those that played the game, still haunts them. This is a freakishly fast-paced song, the bass line is insanely complex and the drums never take a breather. And that intro? Absolutely bonkers. On vocals for Freezing, rapping and singing is Lotus Juice, and he absolutely threw it out of the park with his performance. Energy overflows, the chorus is explosive and a lot of fun to listen to. You'll feel this song in your bones. Adam's one-man show is such a treat for bass lovers. The song has quite the long, dramatic intro, with the bass solo taking over 50 seconds of the song, but that's not all. The whole track is bass goodness, with plenty of slap bass going on. To make things even better, on vocals is Tetsuya Kakihara, tackling lyrics in Japanese and English and absolutely smashing it. You'll sing along, you'll scream along those lyrics. This is yet another high-tension, high-octane rock song that will make goosebumps all over you. Flawless performance and outstanding instrumental. Crystal Cross's Show, voiced by Ayumu Murase, with Top of the World. For reference, Crystal Cross was an electro-rock or synthwave duo with a lot of energy to their music. Now, this is quite the rare unknown track, but it is by far my favorite performance by one of the seiyuu industry's vocal chameleons, Ayumu Murase. He goes for a powerful performance resorting to a faux baritone register, thus an unusual lower range, showcasing just how versatile and skilled he is as a singer. To top it all off, he was tackling tricky lyrics that mixed Japanese and English while smoothly shifting between his clean singing and rapping. To say that he was flawless would be an understatement. Yes, you'll tell me, but he's doing that with Bay, there's nothing new to it. The song was released in 2018, years before Murase would dazzle us with his performances in the Paradox Live franchise. Top of the World was, indeed, the very first time that fans got to listen to him doing everything on the vocal end, seamlessly switching between Japanese and English lyrics. He was impressive as part of Crystal Cross. He showed that he's a vocal chameleon and has a massive vocal range and technique that enables him to deliver unique, unrecognizable performances time and time again. As you can tell from this quick overview of the music in the Bandiaroze franchise, there was plenty of variety and quality. All bands had a strong identity and unique sound, and all vocals were giving 100% to dazzle the listeners and later on their fans. Its fate, shelved by Sony Music Japan. Despite being one of the most ambitious projects in the last decade, counting with a good rhythm game, quality music, awesome main story and crazy hilarious side stories, Bandiaroze ended up ceasing distribution in 2019. Having launched 1 year after the 2D idol project's boom, Idolish 7, Ensemble Stars B Project and more, Bandiaroze was fighting against impossible odds, as most fans of 2D music flocked to the idol projects and left on the side this awesome rock project that had a lot of heart and quality to offer. At the same time, Bandiaroze was embracing rock music. While 2D multi-genre projects have successful and popular rock groups, exclusively 2D rock music projects don't face the same level of popularity, with many struggling to stand out. It started with Fly Me Project in 2015, and most rock music projects have faced the same difficulties to stand out since then. And that's when you'd think that Fly Me Project, fighting for visibility and barely staying afloat after launch, should have been a clear red flag for Sony Music Japan and Aniplex Plus. Apparently it wasn't, and the project was launched in 2016. Did it struggle for visibility like Fly Me Project did? Yes. So it wasn't a matter of quality of the project, music or even the cast, it wasn't the art or the story, as both projects shared little in common in those departments. The common denominator was rock music. 2D rock music projects, no matter how ambitious, high quality or with the best cast ever, were not working at all in 2015-2016. In a way, in 2021, 2D rock music projects aside from Argonavis from Bang Dream and Dear Vocalist still struggle to stay afloat. Still, it is safe to say that bad timing is one of the reasons this project failed to stay afloat. The game's difficulty was another reason many claimed to be at the core of not bothering with following Bandiaroze. The main cast was filled with quality voice actors, but many were not popular back in 2016, and only around 2018 did some of those members turn into stars. But the thing that clearly killed off this project was the lack of faith by Sony Music Japan and Aniplex Plus in this project. It deserved much more than just being shelved due to lack of popularity. Why should you check Bandiaroze and its bands? The focus is put on rock music, with each band exploring a different side and thus subgenre, which ends up being something that makes Bandiaroze a project that will appeal to many people. If you're a massive fan of fast-paced, emotional, at times drastic visual K-rock, Osiris is the band for you. Fast-paced, exciting punk rock, Blast has the thing for you. Easy listening pop rock, Fairy April is going to be your thing. Cute pop rock sound with a jazz touch, Curetron is the band that you should check. Exquisite electronic rock with a bit of rap, Freezing will cater to your tastes. If you like EDM and want it to sound explosive with rock in the mix, Crystal Cross is your thing. Variety is something that Bandiaroze has all over. There is a band that will for sure cater to your tastes. If you're looking for a new fix of rock music ranging from metal to electro rock, and outstanding performances that will make you want to hear more from each vocalist, the character, and perhaps the CEO in question, and appreciate a project that overflows with love for every single beat it created and released, Bandiaroze is indeed the thing for you. Thanks for watching.